Hi guys, Gemma here from Fundamental Sports and Fitness, and today in our Chit Chat Thursday we're just going to go through some exercises or upper body exercises that will help you when you're running. So the main bit when you're running is you always think about your legs are the thing that are important, possibly your core, your glutes, and so your upper body can often get neglected from a running perspective. I know from an obstacle course racing, a lot of focus is spent on your upper body. But as we're going to look at, we're going to focus it more from a running perspective and what and exercises that are going to help runners. So the big thing to think about when you're looking at your upper body for your running is your posture. Okay, loads of us spend so much time at a desk, all hunched over, and it just rounds your shoulders. If you're tight and from a breathing perspective, again, shoulders get rounded, which is going to sort of negatively impact your running technique. So when you're thinking about that, you're wanting to hold shoulders back. So lots of the exercises that are going to help with that are going to be stretches to stretch your chest, but also then back work to tighten and pull your shoulders back as you're running. So they're going to be some of the bits that we're going to be looking at. Also, when you're thinking about your upper body, you've got your arm movement. That is going to be your driving power as well. When your legs are getting more tired, think about the arm movement that you've got as well. A couple of bits that have become more sort of important to me recently, and a lot of the stuff that came out from the painful shoulder that I've been experiencing, was looking at my breathing when I'd been running. And a lot of the issues I'd found was partly because of my asthma. I was finding I'd been shallow breathing quite a lot and not using sort of my diaphragm and using all of that area to get a full breath in when I was inhaling, exhaling and running. So again, that was putting more pressure and tightness on my chest. So again, a lot of it was looking about opening up the upper body so you could get those full breaths when you're breathing and running as well. So there's some other bits that you might want to think about. So some stretches that we'll look at, and I've got some exercises that we'll go through as well together. So the first bit we'll look at are arm swings. So nice and simple to get you started. Just thinking about opening up, forwards, back, and then high and low as well. So again, it's just opening every direction of your chest and your arms up. And I'd say do sort of 10 to 12 reps of them when you're doing them, okay? And you could easily do these before you're going for your run, okay, to open up that whole movement. Another good one to look at is a pec stretch, okay? And for this one, I'll say get your arms at a 90-degree angle. You want a door frame or a wall, something that you can put that arm against, keep that 90 degrees, and just step into it as you stretch across your chest, okay? And again, when you're stretching it, you're only looking for it to start off with 20 seconds or so, just to start to release it. And then you whatever you do on one side, make sure you do on the other. So I'll show you from this angle for my left arm. So again, arm at the 90 degrees, push against, and then open into the stretch. And again, you'll feel that opening up your chest and your shoulder as you're working through. The other stretch to think about is your back and your lats. So you want to be into that kneeling position, sitting back onto your heels, arms straight forward, and just reaching and trying just to walk your fingertips forwards. Okay, and you'll feel then a nice stretch going down the side of your lats and your arms as you're working through. And you can just steadily creep your arms forwards to get that stretch going down the side and your lower back a little bit more. Just twist your hips one way, and again twist your hips the other way just to loosen that up. So from a stretching perspective there, you've looked at sort of that dynamic movement of those arm swings, releasing your pecs with that 90-degree wall stretch, and then your backs as your lats as you've onto your heels and just pulling and reaching forwards. Now, from an exercise point of view, we've got a little circuit that we'll work our way through, and I'll show you how to work through all of them. I've got a set of dumbbells with me, which we'll use for a few of the exercises. You could use resistance bands if you've got them, or just do bodyweight exercises as well, just so you're working through that movement. Whatever you've got at home will work quite nicely with it all. So as we're going through first, we're going to do arm circles. Now with that, arms shoulder height, okay, nice and straight, and just small circles going round. Okay, now we'll do it, everything's been timing based, okay, and you're looking for about 30 seconds, small steady circles, keeping your arms at that shoulder height as you're working your way through. Okay, now we won't do the full 30 seconds today, but once you've then developed into that nice routine, that's a good length of time to build on. I'd then say give yourselves 30 seconds rest before you then go on to the next exercise. Just make sure your muscles got a little bit of recovery in them before you move on to the next one. So the next exercise would be a frontal and lateral raise. So again, very shoulder focused as we go through it. If you're doing this one, either start with body weight, or you probably want some light weights or a lighter resistance band, just so you can keep the technique. So back nice and straight, still brace your abs through the movement, and you're going to want your dumbbells or your weights and palms facing your thighs. You're going to raise your arms up so they're shoulder height, okay, and then take them out wide, squeeze your shoulder blades together, back to the middle, and then lower down. So you're going up, out, in, and down. Okay, and from this one, and really important, make sure your back is nice and straight and you're squeezing your shoulder blades as you're working your way through that one. Okay. Now, next one, another back one that we're going to focus on, bent over row. To start off with, you can keep it nice and balanced, weights in both hands, and then as you progress, a nice one to do is then a single arm row. Really focuses then your core, and make sure you're not rotating as you're doing the movement, which again strengthens your upper back. So if it was a bent over row, you've got your dumbbells or your weights, hips back, back nice and straight, pull your shoulders back, okay, so your back is already engaged, keeping your elbows tucked in, squeeze your weights to your chest and back down. And again, through all of this, brace from your middle. So again, we're keeping everything nice and tight as you're doing the exercise. And that's that, and be that key bit. Your back needs to be straight. We don't want anything like this. Back straight through the movement. Okay, squeeze your bum, pulling up and down. If you wanted to go onto that single arm row, keep one hand relaxed. Okay, weight in your other hand, squeeze it up and down. So again, your back is staying nice and straight. Once you've done 30 seconds on one hand, switch the weight over onto the other. Okay, and that's the key, keeping your back straight. Okay, we don't want any of this action. Okay, it's too much rotation going on then. So nice and straight, pulling up as you're rotating round, pulling up as you're rotating round. A military get-up, so focusing core, also then shoulders and back as you're working through this one. So, a couple of ways that we've got it. You can either do it on your knees or in your full sort of high plank position, but whichever you do, you want to make sure your shoulders, hips and heels are all in that really nice straight line. Okay, so from this position, okay, kids' toys nicely in the way. So from that high plank position, you're going to drop down onto one forearm, drop down onto your other forearm, so you're now in that low plank, push up and push up. And again, your whole body is in that straight line as you do the movement. If you need to, drop it down onto your knees again, nice straight and strong back, so down, down, up, up. Okay, so from that forward position, just so you can see, so from here, drop down onto one forearm, drop down onto the other, push up and push up. Okay, so that would be your military get-up. So again, back, shoulders, and you're starting to engage your chest a little bit there as well when you're doing it. Now you cannot forget press ups through any of these movements. They are such a good upper body exercise. I'd recommend them for anybody to try and do. And again, there are so many variations that you can work on, whether they're from starting on your knees, then taking your knees slightly further back, and then to your full extended press up version. But the key as you're doing your press up is to make sure that your elbows are keeping tucked in, okay, as you're pressing down and coming up. We've not got this movement for a press up. That long term is going to hurt and damage your shoulder. So again, keep elbows tucked in, okay, engages your triceps a little bit more, so the back of your arms, and again, your chest. So for that press up position, if we're doing, starting on your knees, okay, you'd want your head in front of your hands, okay, just make sure you can all see, head in front of your hands, elbows tucked in behind you, press down, squeeze and push up. And again, brace your entire body as you're doing the movement. Now, if you're going on to full, again, hips low, so shoulders, hips and heels are all in a straight line. Press down, push up. So head is always in front of your hands. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Elbows tucked back in behind you. And again, great work for your chest, okay, and that upper body section as you're working. The final one we'll get are shoulder taps. So we're again looking at that core movement, but again looking at that control from your chest and your shoulders as you're doing the movement. So you can either go on your knees to start off with and then progress to the full position. But whichever you do, again, you want your shoulders, hips and heels all to be in that really nice straight line. So if we're from this position here, straight line, we want to tap your shoulders with the opposite hand. So if I've got my right hand, I'll tap my left shoulder down. Okay, so it focuses on, you have a little bit of rotation going on, but you're trying to limit it as much as possible. Okay, so again, that's the element that's engaging your core. But again, like with anything in running, you're trying to challenge your balance. So again, you're taking across to that 3-point balance with it all. Okay, so those are sort of the exercises that I'd work through that are good upper body exercises for runners. Give them a go. As we said, 30 seconds on the exercise, 30 seconds rest. Or look to do 12 reps of everything. If something is the single arm work, do 12 on both sides to make sure everything stays nice and balanced throughout it all. And then the same with your stretches. People always then say, well, how often should I do it? When should I incorporate it into my routine? The more strength work you can get in, the better. But to try and keep it nice and balanced within your running, because that is going to be the key that is keeping everybody sane at the moment. But if you can get in sort of those upper body stretches, that little circuit that we've just put together a couple of times a week, and keep it in sort of in line with the other cross training and the other strength training you're doing, you'll start to see a nice difference within sort of that upper body posture and the power you're able to generate when you're running as well. So yeah, let me know how you get on, guys. We've got a few more lives coming up over the next few weeks focusing around running. We've got an anatomy one coming up on different muscles, their importance when you're running, and sort of injuries that relate to around those, to try and make things make a bit more sense than rather just say, where's my quad, what does it do, or sort of more the Latin names that go with them that can seem a bit baffling every now and again. So we've got that one coming up. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, head over to the events section. I've put them all on there. So yeah, every Thursday morning we'll have that Chit Chat Thursday, and you'll see some of the topics that we've got. If there's anything that you want to know more about, drop a note in the comments section, and then I can plan some of the lives that we've got around what it is you guys want to know. And yeah, keep yourself safe, guys, and I'll look forward to hearing from you all soon.